In any historical analysis, the first thing that happens is that when novices, having done no research, having seen no documents, start talking on history, particularly it is sad when they belong to the present generation of the greatest leader and revolutionary India ever produced, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. I was shocked recently to see a social post done by one Sharmila Bose, coming from, I think, the first, second, third generation of Netaji family, a citizen of US, born and brought up there, putting up a post saying, I apologize that Netaji, my great-grandfather, who was an Indian freedom fighter, he didn't criticize the Holocaust. Who the hell is she? To seek personal career favors. And a similar kind of a statement was made by the so-called, yes, I use the word so-called, Anita Brigitte Puff, so-called daughter, Anita Brigitte Puff in Germany and Europe and America, and in India, Anita Bose Puff. When she also went to the social media stating that my father did a wrong thing, he aligned with those forces, fascist forces and all. Has she looked at the files? Has she ever understood what Netaji's ideology was? And then there is a third set now. And you see, all these have a foreign connection. Another family who worked in Commonwealth, she married a Britisher. Another one whose brother is in Germany and he is here, the great-grand-nephews, who have taken a U-turn. Till last 2 years, 2 years back they were shouting, there was no plane crash, talking on the media, on videos. And suddenly now they say, ashes have to be brought, they are his ashes. And they say, we have found new evidence in the declassified files. I challenge them, show me what new evidence you have found. And the files were declassified in 2016. So why till 2 years back, till 2021, you maintained that plane crash is a hoax? And now, humiliating and insulting your own uncles who never believed in the plane crash. And the worst is, these people were spied upon, were put under surveillance by Nehru. That also got revealed in the declassified files. But these people have no words to condemn it. If Netaji had died in the plane crash, then why was Nehru keeping a surveillance on the family? Can someone answer this? These people never talked of what happened to the treasures of INA. Never. These people never bothered about the common INA soldiers and the women of Rani Jhansi regiment, who after 46, Indian dominion and then independent India used to wash utensils for their livelihood. Or a person like Singhara Singh Captain, who was decorated by 2 medals by Netaji, who worked as a guard in Baratha. They made an elite club. Why did these people never made any attempt to get research done or publish the huge INA papers collection which is there in the National Archives of India? How much research did they sponsor? And the way they sought benefits from the Congress regimes. Krishna Bose remained an MP of the Congress, Sisir an MLA of the Congress. And what not. Cashing and building their careers. This whole question of Netaji's marriage is also under a question mark. Either these people should say that Netaji was a liar, which no one can dare to, and see the letter written by Netaji to the Tokyo cadets, 44 cadets whom he had sent to Tokyo, in which he writes, I have no children. He was very cautious about his each and every word which he wrote. Had he a daughter, he could have said, I have no sons. He never did that. The date of marriage which is given, after that Netaji was in India. Had all opportunity to talk to his mother, to Sharat Bose, to his other brothers. He never mentioned that. And suddenly they produce a letter of Netaji written on a date when he was in the submarine, 8th April I think. To Sharat that I have married and I have a wife and a daughter and you will take care of that. No names mentioned in it. Anyone can use that letter. Who is this Brigitte, whose name figures on Anita's certificates? We need an answer to this. Don't forget, that was the first time in Banaras, a newspaper published a fake news that Netaji had a 9-year-old son. And when hue and cry was made, how come this is possible? Then the story was withdrawn. And then after some time comes the story, he has a daughter. Anyway, that's another thing to look into. But let me come to the main issue. Fascism, Germany, Italy, Mussolini, Japan. Netaji was only one, a die-hard Indian nationalist. And like a Chanakya policy, your enemy is my enemy. That's why he sought the help of Japan, Germany and Italy. Tell me one thing. Did Japan or Germany do any harm to India? Ever? On the contrary, both these countries historically supported the Indian freedom fighters. Raj Bihari Bose was in Japan. Raja Mahendra Pratap Singh was in Japan. Anand Mohan Sahai was in Japan. His wife Sati Sahai was in Japan. and so many other Gadar revolutionaries. And Germany had supported the Gadar party right from its formation. So much so that when the case went in Chicago, the Americans called it Hindu conspiracy case. Surya said, why this fact is hidden? That a German ship had come with arms. The arms were to land. So one has to cause by that. What is my national interest? A real diplomat will do that. A real politician will do that. A real freedom fighter will do that. And that was the decision Netaji took. And they forget another thing also. That initially Netaji, when he left Calcutta, he had planned to go to Soviet Union, not to Germany. He was not a communist. He cannot be a communist. Because the first aim of communism, when they say is nationalism, is a bourgeoisie concept. And we know what a nationalist Netaji was. So how can he be a communist? Then second thing they say in communism, to establish the dictatorship of the proletariat. And Netaji was a die-hard Democrat. Look at him. When in the Tokyo conference, Tojo says, he is the head of Indian government. He says, no, I am only a representative of India. The head of the Indian government will be selected by the Indian people when India is liberated. The Azad Hind Sarkar which he formed. Why he called it a provisional Azad Hind Sarkar? Saying that the real government will be found by the people of India when India is liberated. He is a Democrat. He is not a dictator. He is not a fascist. And in ample speeches of his, these people have not even read his speeches. Being from the family and they comment on him. He has made it clear. Okay, what's happening in Germany, what is happening in Italy is their internal affair. That's not mine. My aim is only India's independence. And each and pie which he took from Germany, he returned to Germany by the Bank of Tokyo from the funds of Azad Hind Sarkar. He had given instructions to the Indian Legion, the INA in Germany. You are not to fight the Russians if Hitler orders you. Why? He was in league with Hitler. He is the one who had said face to face with the eyes on Hitler's eyes. You were wrong what you wrote in Mein Kampf about India. Hitler had to retreat. He criticized the Soviet invasion of Hitler. And in so many speeches he has said, if the British could not win me over, if the British atrocities could not break me, who in the world can change my ideals? They forget that in a speech from Rangoon, he addressed the communist leaders in India that if you assure that the British are living in India and they leave India, I'll see to it that there is no Japanese soldier remaining in India, on Indian soil. The most important thing, before the INA moved into Burma along with the Japanese, he had entered into an agreement with the Japanese. What was the first clause? That each and every area that will be liberated from the British, It's only the Indian tricolor which will be flown there, no Japanese flag. What was the second clause? These liberated areas will be governed by Azad Hind Sarkar, the bureaucracy which was training under Azad Hind Dal, and they came and they ruled and they went also up to Imphal. Many of them died also. And they say, like Nehru said, that if he comes with the help of Japanese, I'll fight him with a sword. And the British propaganda that he wants to replace British by Japanese in India. And these people believe it. When they go and apologize for Holocaust and all these things. Hitler did Holocaust. Not Netaji. How can you hold responsible Netaji for that? And tell me one thing. Has any of these family members ever criticized the biggest massacre done by British in India at Neelkanj on 25th September 1945, where about 1700 brave soldiers and officers of the INA were shot dead by the British at Neelkanj in one night? Have they? Have they criticized the killing of about 700 INA soldiers near Switzerland, Cascade Lake, in a theatre after they had surrendered, being shot by the British and French? Will they? Have they ever demanded where the treasures of INA went? But to make their careers, to seek benefits, they say all these things in relation to Netaji, that he did wrong, he did tied with this, he tied with that. He should have gone into alliance with Churchill, as the Indian communists did. A Churchill who created a man-made famine in Bengal and killed lakhs of people in Bengal, Odisha and Assam. To support that Churchill? When Hitler signed Russo-German Pact, a non-aggression pact, then he was not a fascist for the communists. When the war started, then it was not a people's war, imperialist war. But if Hitler attacked Russia, it became a people's war. He became a fascist for the communists. And these communists who spied on people of forward bloc of Netaji during the 42 movement and sought favors from the British, how dare they criticize Netaji? One has to look into these facts. My request to Indians world over, just because they belong to the family or some Nehru disciples, even today, and some who had looted the treasures, if this mafia tries to defame Netaji, be cautious and contradict that propaganda. Indian government is not a fool. Our Prime Minister restored the honor of Netaji by replacing that George VI, Fifth, who used to be there in front of India Gate, by Netaji's huge statue. Be cautious of such who attack Netaji. Thank you very much. Namaskar.